These are my top 10 cheap cologne fragrances for winter. Really for all year round for the most part. Number 10, Jane Lo's Immortal, aka Louis Vuitton's L'Immensité. Now this fragrance smells exactly 1 to 1 of L'Immensité. Now, it smelled so good, in fact, that they told them that you need to change your name. Understand, if you go, because I have, to a Louis Vuitton store with this on, they won't be able to tell the difference because I've actually done that a few times in testing. This smells amazing. It got everything captured in that Louis Vuitton bottle for the low. It's just there. Trust me, if you can find Jane Lo's Immortal, pick it up. Longevity on this is not as long as the Louis Vuitton, of course, but it is close. I get a solid 5.5 to 6 hours on skin, and on clothes, it is the next day. But after that 5 to 6 hours, it just becomes strongly a skin scent. You have 2 extra hours depending on how you moisturize your skin. Number 9 is another by Jane Lo. It's Jane Lo's Ombre. Now, they have changed the name of this, and I do not remember or recall the name they changed this to. But if you look it up, it's easy to find. This is Louis Vuitton's Ombre Nomad. Is it a 1-to-1? No, but it is pretty close. It's like a 2-to-1. The only difference in it is that this has a little bit more pronounced of a leather note. You still have that oud, that rose that comes from Ombre Nomad. Longevity on this is not as long, just being honest with you. Longevity on this fragrance is going to be about 6 hours on skin, and on clothes, you get it until the next day. It smells really, really good. Even if it's not a 1-to-1, it's still close enough that it smells that good to it. I would recommend you getting this if you cannot save up the money for Ombre Nomad. This is great, and on this top 10 list, it's not from worst to best, so it's just 10 in whatever order, so y'all can understand how to save money in your pocket. But I do recommend Ombre Nomad if you don't have the money for the real thing. Number 8 is actually a really good, almost 1-to-1. It's like a 1.1, and I can smell the subtle differences. Tarati Blue by Afnan. Now, Tarati Blue is a cologne fragrance of Bulgari's Tiger. Now, it smells almost just like it. The main problem with this is that the longevity is not the same. You're usually gonna get that issue when it comes to a lot of these inspired / cologne fragrances, is the longevity is different. But after this sits, after this master race, it is an amazing fragrance. It smells like it in the air. But on skin, you do smell the very, 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 very subtle differences if you have both. But I do recommend you getting this over Tiger because save the freaking money. I think I got this online for like 30 freaking bucks. All of these fragrances is under $50. You can find them online easily. So I do recommend this. This is a nice number here, number 8. It is Tarati Blue by Afnan. Number 7, Gold Edition by Al Harmein Amber Oud Gold Edition. It smells just like Era Pure by Xerjoff. Now, Era Pure by Xerjoff, that top note on Era Pure can be a little synthetic. This, after it sits, matures, macerates, gets rid of that top note and smells just like Era Pure. Longevity is the same. Projection is the same. This is one of the closest clones to any of the main fragrances that I have here in my collection. I do recommend it. It is sweet, it is unisex. Longevity, like I said, is exactly, it's gonna sit at about 7 hours, on close the next day. It is really good and it projects very loudly. So caution with this sprayer, caution with this really, really good juice. You'll find this maybe online really about people, but I do recommend this over Era Pure. I always talk about this. If you've been a fan to the channel, you already know I talk about that this is better than Era Pure because of the price. Now, number 6, some people would disagree with me, and I get it, but I've had the real and I've had the clone. This is Tarati Brown. Now, Tarati Brown smells just like Tuxedo by YSL on their higher end line, that is, so the Saint Laurent. It smells just like Tuxedo, and it is a great fragrance at number 6. I actually kept this and got rid of Tuxedo and worn this for a lot of special occasions, weddings, luncheons, brunch, stuff like that. It is a great fragrance. The longevity is about an hour less than Tuxedo though, just being honest with you. And it's not as smooth as Tuxedo, but those subtle little nuances and everything is not worth spending X amount of money on Tuxedo, in my personal opinion. I do say you need to rock with Afnan's Tarati Brown because save the money, it smells good, and I do recommend it. Now, number 5 is by Maison Alhambra. It is called Malachate, Spectrum Malachate. Sorry about the pronunciations, but this is a one-to-one clone of God of Fire by SHL. Now this smells just like this because I do have the original. This smells just like this, and this is more than half the price. Actually, it's only about maybe I think about a 10th or an 1/8 of the price of God of Fire. I recommend you getting this over God of Fire. It smells just like it. But y'all know how I feel about God of Fire. I just think God of Fire is a fresh mango scent. You could just go to Sephora and ask for a fresh mango scent and you'll get pretty close to God of Fire in my personal opinion. But this is a one-to-one if you want to smell just like it. I do recommend it. The longevity is the same. The projection is the same. Everything about this is the same. You really cannot smell one bit of difference. The only main difference in this is that the spray on this kind of sucks. Number 4, Oud for Glory by Lattafa. I know a lot of people was wondering when Lattafa's gonna show up. Well, it is here. This smells almost like Oud for Greatness, but this is the thing. This smells more like How Tame than Oud for Greatness. How Tame and Oud for Greatness are all owned by the same company. They're sisters, and this right here leans like in the middle of it. I have it this high on the list because of my love for How Tame. But How Tame can sometimes be a little bit too fresh than what I'm going for, but Oud for Greatness can be a little bit too dirty, not in a bad way. This right here is a happy medium. I do recommend everybody, every single person need to pick up Oud for Greatness and put this in their collection, especially if you're a guy, because women also wear Oud for Greatness too. Women love smelling like oud and smelling oud. So I do recommend people picking up Oud for Greatness. You will enjoy it. The longevity is freaking nuclear, just like Oud for Greatness, but the oud is just slightly fresher. So if you're looking for that, but you don't want to have the money for How Tame or Oud for Greatness, get Oud for Glory by Lattafa. Number 3, Afnan's 9 p.m. Everybody knows Afnan 9 p.m. by now. This is Ultramel. It's a one-to-one of Ultramel. Don't fight with me, fight with your mama. It is a one-to-one of Ultramel. I know they have Ram Silver. No, this one is the one you need to get. But this is the kicker. If you have Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultramel, do me a favor. If you are overseas, just get that because it is cheaper. But if you are here in the US, more specifically the continental US, get 9 p.m. It smells just like it. They just like to tax Ultramel and everything. Ultramel is just way too expensive here in the US. Ultramel is just way too expensive here in the US. Just get yourself 9 p.m. and you will be happy. Longevity is about the same. What's 30 minutes? The smell is the same after it sits, macerates, matures. It is an amazing clone of that fragrance. Pick it up if you're here in the US, but if you're outside the US, just being honest with you, just go get it real bad. Number 2. Now, number 2 is Woody Sage by Dossier. It smells like Joe Malone's wood, sage, and sea salt. It smells just like it. It's a freaking one. Don't even gotta worry about it. The reason why I brought this up is because a few years ago, about 2 years ago, I was in Sephora, put on wood, sage, and sea salt. Love the smell of it. Walked from one end of the mall to the other end of the mall, and the fragrance was gone, like completely gone. So I was like, this is a beautiful scent, but it ain't hitting on nothing. I decided just to take a risk and get Woody Sage by Dossier, and it's a one-to-one of it. But the good thing about Woody Sage is that it actually lasts on skin 5.5 to 6 hours versus roughly 30 to 45 minutes. And I think I got this at like 30 bucks or $35. It smells amazing. The fig tree, the grapefruit, the merino, the amberette, celery sage, and the amberwood is absolutely beautiful in this thing. And Dossier, y'all know, cruelty free. Great sprayer, and it smells just like it. I do recommend getting Woody Sage over wood, sage, and sea salt every day of the week, every minute of every hour, every second of every minute. Just skip it and get the clone from dossier. Now, number one is very important. It is not a one-to-one, but I need to put this on this list because I am explaining to the people how this is not what it's trying to be, but better. This is Lattafa Khamrah. This is the GOAT of Lattafa. This is what really put Lattafa over the edge. This is supposed to be, quote unquote, a clone of Angel Share by Killian. Now understand, this is not a clone of Angel Share. It's in the same ballpark as Angel Share, but it is not a clone of Angel Share. The problem is that people want to say that this is a clone, but it's not. Trust me, in the comments under this video and on my TikTok, which will sing true to that. This is its own thing. It is even the liqueur note that it's trying to mimic is different. It's like cognac versus brandy. I'm a brown liquor man, so y'all already know the differences on it. Longevity after it sits and matures and macerates. The longevity on this is about 7 hours, and on close is the next day. Fresh out when you first buy it, it's not gonna last, so don't get tempted by that. Y'all can even see the color of my juice is slightly darker because it's sat. This is an amazing fragrance, but it's not Angel Share. I know this is supposed to be a clone list, but I put this on here because people perceive it as that. But I would recommend this over Angel Share. My wife would recommend this over Angel Share. She would recommend Ojan over Angel Share. She just doesn't like Angel Share. I just think Angel Share is too much of an apple pie and not what it's really trying to convey with the liqueur line of Killian. If you like the content, please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers. On TikTok, we almost at 50. I'm thinking we at, like, by the time of this video, 49.9 thousand followers. So please like, share, and subscribe to this video. We're trying to grow the YouTube as well as keep the TikTok going strong. And thank you for watching Ronnie Fragrance.